turning back.
Welcome to the Lost Boy Scouts podcast. Do we have to do that anymore?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, we clap into for
Yeah.
to know where we are at with the
Maybe
with
this
our
is
recording systems.
maybe maybe next year's the year that we like change up the intro and stuff, because we've been running the same intro for 2 years.
I
like
love it.
2 years. I do too.
You got new digs, new
Yeah.
camera equipment,
New camera equipment.
new recording devices, which is awesome.
Yeah. Trying to level it up, make it simpler. I did yard sale, man. I sold all my camera equipment, simplified it down to one camera. Used to be a Canon guy. Made the leap to Sony, and I'm hoping Sony is.
Don't let us down.
We had the whole GoPro. Remember the whole GoPro fiasco in the early days?
Oh my gosh!
So now we're shooting Sony. It's a hybrid mirrorless setup that like everybody I've talked to like says this is the way to go. 120 minutes, not needing to stop. We can record without having to pause and that just makes it easier post editing and those kind of things.
Sure.
So
what's crazy because when I came over here and I was like, "Hey, can we see ourselves on the big TV?" and you're like, the GoPro went and with that the cords."
So I've got to find another adapter. Like it's weird what cameras support, like which output options, and I didn't really think about it, but I tossed a cable in my decluttering that I could have used with this camera setup. But cables are the new plastic bags. Pretty soon that they'll be outlying cables, and because they're just ending up in landfill. So I'll just buy a new cable.
One day there'll be a different way of doing things, huh?
Mm-hmm.
We just finished up our end of year business meeting.
Yeah,
business model. It was We ironed out some things. We figured out which direction to go with a couple things.
It's insane how fast this year went.
Yeah,
insane. It's unbelievable that it's like we just had Thanksgiving. How was your Thanksgiving?
It was amazing.
Yeah,
it was
so much to be grateful for this year.
Well, and so I've kind of talked about this before that there was some contention in my family where my mom and Misty had a falling out almost about 5 years ago. And we've seen each other, we'd go around each other, but my mom and Misty have very strong personalities.
Yeah.
But they also have this love for each other.
Right.
This insane love for each other. And I think that they both felt like the other had let them down. And they didn't know how to get past it without each other getting past it, right? And so I kind of talked about that my mom had a stroke a while back. And my mom said, "Okay, enough is enough. Enough is enough. We're gonna figure this out. Misty and I are gonna get back to normal." And I didn't know how to fix it. I mean, I was like, I'm Team Misty. I love my mom.
Yeah,
but I'm
you have to be right. Like,
and so we didn't know how to fix it. I tried a couple times.
When it's not really your job, right? The more you insert yourself, the more you get involved.
And I don't want to get involved.
Right? You want to put yourself in between two cats.
Dude,
you might get scratched. You might get scratched.
But and my brothers and sisters and I got together and we hashed some things out, and then my mom and Misty talked. And it's crazy to me because, we grew up together.
Yeah.
Misty and I have been together since we were 17. So Misty is, in my sister's eyes, Misty's their sister. They don't know any different without Misty.
Yeah.
So they were all hurt by this whole thing.
Yeah.
And so we had our first family party with everybody.
It's incredible
that we could get there. Braxton's not in town. My older sister's daughter's not in town, but as many as we could get together, we had at our house a couple weekends ago, and it was awesome. That's so awesome. Fun. We had such a good time, and my mom was really happy. She was really thankful for that whole thing, but it also showed me that how important cleaning up some of that bullshit is.
Right.
Because if you leave that on the table and something happens, that's on the table.
Yeah.
And I would hate for that kind of thing to happen. And then Misty jumped on a plane today with my family to go to Disneyland, which is crazy.
Landmark.
So it was good. The actual Thanksgiving day I worked, and it was so boring at work. It was like spikes of about 5 minutes where there was a lot of airplanes, but there would be times when there'd be more controllers in the room than actual planes on the scope.
That's interesting because I heard the Thursday or the Wednesday before was supposed to be like record-setting number of planes in the sky for the FAA. Some news source I heard.
Yeah, I don't know the difference of if it is good or if it is bad. We have. I can tell you that certain areas of my job has blown up. As far as piloting and airplanes, but then there's other times when it's like we've been able to dumb things down where it's not really that bad.
Yeah.
But I went to Misty's dad's afterwards, and it's always crazy to go up there because that's a whole another dynamic of family that, like, I don't. I'm close with Misty's dad and Misty's mom. I'm close with them.
Yeah.
I'm really close with Misty's dad, and him and I, like, we have like so many fun conversations. I let him drive the Tesla, and you should have seen his face.
Yeah,
he should have seen his entire demeanor getting into that car and driving it. He was like, I'm driving a spaceship. I mean, imagine a 75 I don't know how old Misty's dad. I think he's 72, 73-ish. Cowboy, grew up riding horses. He used to run cattle on the streets that we grew up on. His family ran cattle from the Great Salt Lake to the mountains every year. And then they would run them from Idaho down south and back up north. And he ran cattle from he was a boy, like little boy. So to see now for him riding a horse as his first vehicle to a Tesla, his mind was like, what the world is going on here? So it was really fun. It was a good day, and Braxton wasn't in town, but I talked to him twice, and he's doing good. I think his date to go back to North Carolina is January 22nd, so he's almost done with this deployment, and then that should be it. That should be you should be wrapping shit up in the Army and stuff. So what'd you guys do?
Man, went down to my dad's house. I think it was probably one of the first Thanksgivings I've had with him since, probably when I was a teenager.
Oh, wow.
Just different personality issues, different issues with him and with us getting along, and really kind of highlights the dysfunction I had in my own relationship, right? We kind of always followed my ex's family around.
Oh, okay.
Right. There's a level of unrecognized codependency there that I think that I didn't realize now until, I kind of really separated, and I just took a step back and I said, it's like you get your head above water and you're like, oh, what was that all about? Yeah. So it was good. It was good. Cozy. Unfortunately, my youngest was not feeling super hot, but it was kind of a nice little out. We hung out and played games for a little bit, but then eventually she was so miserable. I was just like, we got to get her home and get her to bed.
Home. Did Bryn go down?
Yeah.
Everybody went down?
We had everyone down. We were taking family pictures.
This is cool.
And like I'm seeing Cozy's face, everybody's smiling, and she's like,
how was Doug?
He's good. He's doing real good. I mean, I think he has good days and bad days, right? Like I think.
Is he recovered from everything that happened?
Yeah, he had the big fall, the shoulder surgery. Like he's definitely recovered. My brother, I think, it really aged him. It really did age him. Sure. I think it's been awesome. He's been a lot more communicative in the fact that he's reached out. He's reaching out more often and checking in. And, a lot of times I felt like that was on me. And so it's inspired me to reach out more and just kind of repair that relationship where necessary. And,
Who cooked the turkey?
He did. He smoked it.
He did.
Smoked it.
We smoked ours too.
Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah.
It was fun.
It's a process, right? Like it takes a long ass time to smoke the turkey. Yeah.
It's like for me, I had to spatchcock the thing, which was still to me one of the funniest words they used to be.
Yeah.
Spatchcock the thing. But we smoked ours for, I want to say about 8 hours.
Okay.
Pretty low.
Yeah.
But you have to brine it. You have to do all this crazy, you do all that shit. I woke up at 4:00 in the morning thinking, I'm just going to cut this thing and spatchcock it.
Yeah.
It took me an hour, Tyler, to cut this thing. Bones. And I was trying to be quiet because people were still sleeping, and I was so damn frustrated. I couldn't get the thing. My cabinets or my my countertops are not that tall, but I'm short, so I couldn't get the leverage to break the breast
Oh,
to stand on top of it.
that's funny.
Oh my gosh, dude, I was like, it was so flustering.
I saw a social media clip. One of my coworkers' husbands used his big old tree trimming shears.
Oh, he did.
He washed them up and like just trimmed through that bone.
I should have had something like that.
Yeah.
You need to have something that will cut through the bone. I did not. I had to saw through the damn thing.
Yeah.
It was frustrating, but it actually turned out good. We ate too much. My boss, he bought some smoked turkeys on Thursday, and they brought to work, and so that was kind of good.
Yeah.
Smoked turkeys are good.
Yeah.
I've never had a deep fried turkey. You?
Yes, that's the only way I've ever cooked it.
You did.
I've
You didn't
deep
blow
fried
this
it.
shit up though, did you?
No, well, I mean, they tell you like you watch the horror videos the first time you're gonna do it. If you do it cold, like if you don't do your research, you're liable to have a fireball of.
Have you seen the people that put it on their countertop and drop it?
Yes.
The fires.
Or and they put it in frozen and it's just like just an eruption.
Yeah.
Can you imagine cleaning peanut oil off of your ceiling?
Oh, by that point, sell the house.
Yeah.
Or
just let it burn down. It was one of those Thanksgiving burn down stories.
Yeah, what a crazy thing. Like, do you like turkey?
I do. I'm a little sad. I didn't get any leftovers. Last year, I didn't eat any Thanksgiving at all.
I remember.
This year, I didn't have any. I made pies, though, so we got some pumpkin pie.
I do not like turkey.
And you don't like turkey?
Not really.
Oh.
Not, I mean, I'm a dark meat person.
Yeah.
But I'm not a big turkey fan. I'll eat it, but I'm pretty picky.
Yeah.
And so I pick at it. I would prefer not to eat it. My wife always gets mad at me. My father-in-law made me a plate. He set me aside food, and he's like, "Hey, Danny, don't forget your plate." And I got in my car pretending like I didn't hear him. My wife was like, "You're such an asshole." And then he's like, "Danny," and I was like, I just don't like pretending like I couldn't hear. He texted me, "You're such an asshole." But yeah, dude, I'm not a big turkey fan. I like a lot of the things but yeah, I'm not a big
turkey fan.
Not at all. Yeah.
It's I will say that like smoking it is the driest I've ever had it.
Yeah.
I think it makes it really dry. When you fry it in peanut oil, it is like very moist, very.
Is it?
Yeah, it's a little bit better.
Yeah.
But you're right. I could see how like. Plus, you eat it, get all that tryptophan. You just want to take a nap.
Take a nap.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird how that happens, right? We had that. Everybody was over at my house, and after we all ate, you could see everybody was just like, "Oh, okay, ready." And they all had an hour drive home, and me and Misty just had to clean up. But it was fun. I'm glad you got to spend the time with your dad.
It was a lot. Like I said, lots to be thankful for. Opportunity to really kind of, be with family and just great.
Will you get to see Casey and the boys anytime soon?
Oh yeah, actually, my cousins, they did something spectacular. They bought a bench at a park near his house. And so they're supposed to do a tree lighting, and it may have already happened, but I'm thinking maybe, depending on whether or not I have my kids, I may go out and surprise them.
Just before the holidays.
Just before the holidays.
Or right after.
I haven't talked to Casey in a minute. I've just kind of given her some space to
the boys
to be her. I talk to the boys weekly because they have their phones, and so I can just text them. I texted Grayson on my nephew on Thanksgiving, and I try to reach out to them weekly or bi-weekly and just talk to them.
We were kind of talking about how like the year flew by for you. And how you and I were talking the other day about like when the anniversary is coming up, because I remember being at the wrestling gym when you called, and then I remember the aftermath of everything that was going on. So like it's got to be bittersweet and understanding that like how fast life moves on from things, right?
Yeah, it's strange because like we're coming up on a year anniversary, right? Sure. It'll be in January, right? Like the end of January will be the year anniversary, but it's like life has moved on, but at the same time it hasn't, right? Like it's definitely changed. There's been a change to homeostasis in the system, right? And we haven't quite completely adapted to that change. And I think that'll take some time. And while, it won't be as tragic at the year anniversary, it'll be a time for, kind of remembering and, never forgetting. But I don't know that we've all completely adapted to the change.
Nor is it expected to either.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's a weird dichotomy of things of like I'm I know this is coming up, but my life is so good right now.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
this is coming up and I'm supposed to be sad
Yeah.
and I have these things I'm so sad, but my life is so good right now.
Yeah.
You know, you have a lot of good things going for
Oh,
you.
absolutely.
And you have a lot of people in your corner that are cheering for you
Yeah.
to see
Yeah.
come through with some of the things that you've already committed to.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I think that's it. I think that's what Nick would want. I don't think he would want sadness, you know. There's definitely, I know my mom was feeling it over Thanksgiving as well. She's like,
yeah.
her holiday tradition was to go over to his house, and
Oh yeah.
with him being gone, I know she felt it.
What did she end up doing?
She went with her half brother, her stepbrother, her half brother in Colorado. She went with him and his family.
Oh.
He's a cool guy. He's a pilot.
Oh really?
Yeah, for American. He's a trainer. He does a lot of training for
That's cool.
American.
Good for him.
Yeah, he's in the Air Force too, an Air Force guy as well. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Him and I would get along for sure.
Yeah. For sure.
That's cool.
Yeah, Uncle Christopher. He's a good dude.
Oh, good. Yeah. So, the topic tonight came about because first things first, we posted this all over Instagram with the review.
The review.
And you were there when that guy was there, correct?
I was not. No,
you were not.
I saw the review first. The first time I saw the review, it like popped up in my
Instagram feed.
It popped up my Google alerts after our little Reddit incident.
Yeah.
I set up a Google alert anytime Park City Jiu-Jitsu or Lost Boy Scouts is mentioned, just so I'm kind of aware of those things. And when it posted, it popped up and I just kind of chuckled.
I thought, for some reason, I thought you were there. It was such a fun night. So we have drop-ins. People drop into the academy all the time. Like we go to other academies and people drop into our academies. There's only 2 academies in Park City. There's the Gracie Barra and then our academy. Mm-hmm. Gracie Barra, I guess, is kind of like a franchise of sorts for academies, and we have a lot of guys that train there that said that they tell us the stories from there. I've never been there. I know some guys that train there, and they're cool. I'm friends with them. It's just not the way that it's not the way that I do things. I'm kind of when you're in our academy, you're a loyalist. You're loyal to our academy for the most part. I have some friends that have gone to Gracie Barra and in Park City, and I often get a little frustrated that they left that because of the loyal stuff. Being loyal to Professor, being loyal to Mona, but then more importantly, being loyal to each other and our friends, right? But you have drop-ins, you have people come through all the time, and some people come back every year, and you start to become friends with John and Mike and some of these other guys that eventually moved to Park City, and now they're part of the community, right? Yeah. And I remember that gentleman being there and thinking, oh, he's kind of a cool guy. But you could tell he was athletic, and I was thinking, oh, when the training gets going, I'm going to make sure that I go with him probably first to make sure that he's a good train. Because we have white belts there, and you don't want the white belts to get hurt. Right. And they don't know. You don't want the guy to get hurt with a white belt that could potentially hurt somebody. You want to make sure that it's okay. And when we started the rounds, I went with him first, and I remember thinking, like, he was okay, he was good, he had long legs, super athletic guy, but then he started grabbing my legs in this weird way that I was like, what are you doing?
Oh, yeah, okay.
And I was trying not to get grumpy, because when guys grab my legs and I'm your first train of the day, and I'm thinking that's what you want to do, you want to play the leg game right away, in a gi, and it's so dry already, it's like, could you hurt me? He was bigger than me, and I remember thinking, I need to make sure that I watch who he goes with next so he doesn't hurt the next guy. And don't hurt him, Danny. Don't hurt him, because he's a drop, and you don't want to be the guy that runs off somebody who potentially would be in our academy. And then down the line, I remember seeing him going with people thinking like, oh man, he's having a rough go of things, because some of the hammers, he went with some of the hammers. Yeah. He did. He went with Dearson, and he grabbed Dearson's leg weird, and Dearson ended up tapping because of the way he grabbed it. I think he kicked him in the nuts as well. He kicked Dearson in the nuts. And then he went with Trip. And I think Trip threw him around a little bit and tuned him up pretty good because of his energy. But after each round, he would walk off the mat, and Professor would say, "Hey, we're still going. You're still in."
Yeah.
Because if you're not careful, then the rounds get messed up because we do a circular rotation.
Yeah.
Right? And I never thought it was mean. Never. I never thought that anybody was doing anything dirty to him.
Right.
I just think that people were matching his energy. And,
right.
And especially you go with the 20-year-old
yeah.
purple belt who has zero regards for your feelings.
Right.
You know, we love Trip, but he has zero regards for your feelings.
Yep.
If you train with him, be careful because, man, if you make him mad and he gets grumpy, he's probably going to rip your head off.
Yep.
He's an animal.
Yeah.
You know, he is a tough role.
Yep.
But you also know that with everybody.
Yeah.
And then he went with Anthony, and I remember thinking, oh, man, I hope he doesn't get hurt by Anthony.
Yeah.
Because, man, you bring the wrong energy to Anthony, and that dude is going to hurt you.
Yeah.
He's a monster.
Yeah.
But I remember looking down there and being like, oh, it's good. He's having a good time.
Yeah.
Anthony's he's doing good. He's not upsetting anybody. He's just, there's some hard trains and there's some not hard trains. That's what I go through.
Yeah.
You know, I know that there's some hard trains and some not hard trains. And then he left. He was gone.
He just walked off after Anthony.
Walked off after Anthony, and I was like, man, I wonder what happened. But never worry about it, because sometimes not every gym, and this I've just heard this, not every gym does 20 rounds. We do 20 rounds every night, open mat, 20 rounds. And
I'll be honest, right? Like what's our elevation? A little over 7,000 feet in Park City, right? Unless you were from someplace like in Denver or, you know, at elevation, the elevation in it itself is going to impact how you roll. Agreed. More so than I'm not saying we're not killers, but like the elevation is going to be a big contributing factor. However good you are at jiu-jitsu, take 10 to 20% off for elevation.
I agree.
Maybe 30.
And we know what I mean? Don't understand it on the verse side because we live at elevation.
Oh, when we go to Florida?
Yeah.
I notice when we go to Florida because I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah. I could do this for days.
Yeah.
And so
this is what it's like to have oxygen.
You wake up the next day to a review that's just not a good, a 1-star review from a guy who has no context to things, but he's saying some crazy shit.
Yeah.
You know, like the dog comment where Professor says that all the time. It's a line from a song.
Right. I loved that in Professor, like in the post that he actually played this song. That section of this song.
We all know Zeta. She's the nicest dog in the world. But this guy leaves a negative review, and I'm like, I'm so mad at that point. Because I'm like, man, at what point in your world do you think that leaving a negative review on something that you have that no basis on, like that really does not, you're not giving the full context story, right?
Right.
And to me, it's like everybody can see that, but it's not like you can leave a review every day about your lifetime, your experience at Park City Jiu-Jitsu. You've been with us for almost 2.5 years, 3 years.
3 years in February.
I've been there for almost 9 years, almost 10 years. Should I leave a review every day about how great my experience is?
Right.
You know, and what kind of a context is this dude? Where does he live his life that he thinks about that he can leave a review like that? And then people say, oh yeah, if you looked at his review history, it's like 35 to 40 reviews, almost all of them negative.
Right. I think some people live in that life happen. Like to me, that sounds like a person that's a to me person. Life is happening to him.
Yeah.
Right. Rather than a for me. Right. He didn't see that he came out to Park City, got his ass kicked, and it happened to him for a good reason.
Yeah.
Right. Like he walked, his ego got in the way and life happened to him. He wherever he trained, wherever he came from, he expected to probably come in here and exert some dominance. And it's not how you train cross gym.
Agreed.
That's not how you train cross gym. I would never want to go into somebody else's gym in a sport I represent and love, and humiliate their black belt or their purple belt, or you know what I mean? Like I'll give them my best shot. If I catch the tap, great. If I don't catch the tap and I get tapped more, like that's most likely what's going to happen. But I'm not worried about it. I'm there to learn. And to be honest, the exposure to people outside of our academy is really beneficial.
Agreed.
To roll with somebody that's new and different, it just changes your game.
It does. Have you ever left a negative review anywhere?
I think in the early days of Twitter, I had an old Twitter handle, and I thought that by maybe tweeting something at the company's Twitter, it would get me something. But to be honest, like, I don't have a lot of time
Exactly.
to leave a negative review. I take that back. When my house flooded, I left a negative review of the real estate company, but that was at the request of the home owner.
Yeah, I understand.
Who was like, hey, it would really help us out if you left a negative review. And they were so nice to me getting out that I was like, sure, I'll do it. You know, but I don't typically have the time to, like, I don't care to leave a negative.
Well,
review.
you've had bad experiences at places.
Oh, sure.
Right? I mean, I've had bad experiences at places. The first thing I think about is, like, it's probably just a bad experience that day. Not once have I thought, I'm going to leave a review so people can read this shit. Because what are they going to think about me?
Right?
I'm so self-conscious about that shit. Like, I'll defend now. There's things that I will defend. I'll defend the academy. Yeah. If I wear Park City patch when I go and compete, I defend it. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to war.
Yeah.
You know,
but I mean,
I may lose, but I'm going to war.
Yeah. And there are some things that are worth. I'm just thinking about I just got completely distracted. My experience at the Old Goat. I got food poisoning there twice. I don't know that I had the same exact thing, and I got sick again. Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Yeah. Just to double check it.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. I don't know. I may find myself back there again. Who knows?
Just to double check.
It genuinely has been a good spot for me. I've never really had anything, but then to have two.
I remember when you told me. Yeah, I went back to the Old Goat, and it happened again. I'm thinking, oh my gosh!
But you got to really pick your battles, and I think that there's something about having a nationalistic bonds, like the video of the football game, college football game.
Yeah,
Michigan versus Ohio State. Just today.
Whew.
I mean, there are some big rivalries.
What was your thoughts about the dude posting the flag in the middle of? I would have done the same thing if I was Ohio State.
I don't fault Ohio State at all. At all. One, if I win, I'm walking off the field, especially if I win away. Like, I'm walking off with my head held high. I don't need to rub it in. But that's a big rivalry.
Huge rivalry.
That's a big rivalry.
I have no problem taunting. Matter of fact, in my mind, I'm like, I kind of like the fact that he tried to put the flag in the middle of the field. I'm like, I kind of like that, right? But then you go, all right, let's say this toxic, like we talked about last week, there's this toxic male personality, where some young kid sees that and he's like, I'm going to go and post my flag in the middle of the field. It's like, yeah, that's going to happen. But what are the ramifications? Because I guess some of those guys got sprayed with pepper spray.
Oh yeah, you saw the police splitting it up, right? And I think the guy that grabbed the flag and then cut back around.
That was awesome.
Like, he probably deserved to get jumped. And,
yeah, he got
you know
his
what I mean?
kicked, yeah.
He got the flag ripped out of his hands.
Oh,
he was pushed down. Yeah,
that's right.
Ohio State has that flag now in their locker room, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
On it and dancing on it.
Right? And who knows what'll come out. As far as bad sportsmanship, I think, I don't know. I don't know. Football is an inherently dangerous game.
And lots of aggression.
Lots of aggression, right? And I don't know. I don't know in the realm of sportsmanship. Perhaps on a national level, maybe that's not the best way to represent your school outside.
To be jumping over the fence at UFC and attacking Connor's entourage.
Yeah,
is that too much?
Yeah. What is the line? What is
the Memphis BYU game where the dude's swinging his helmet around?
Yeah.
Is that too much? That's assault.
Yeah. I think it's yeah.
What are we defending there? Are you defending your last name?
Yeah.
I'll defend my last name.
Sure.
I'll defend your honor. We've had moments where, I've had to tell somebody, no, Tyler's my friend. We're acquaintances. Tyler's my friend.
Yeah.
And I'm Team Tyler.
Yeah.
Right. I've had moments of that situation with people.
Yeah, I'm reminded of the line in Hamilton where he's like, if you don't stand for anything, you stand for nothing. Like
Right.
you have to have, as a man, you have to have somewhere where you draw your line in the sand. And where is it? And I guess I think for these young men that are playing this big aggressive sport, like that's maybe not enough. You know what I mean? They're jacked. Testosterone is through the roof, right? It's 25 to 30 trip type people who are in their peak performance, right? Who probably needed to run a few more laps to get that extra energy out. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And it looks bad, right? It looks bad from the outside world. But have you ever been involved with a bench clearing or
Absolutely.
You have?
Absolutely. Right here in Heber, we had a bench clearing fight on the lacrosse field our senior night, right? And we tuned up a team that 4 years ago embarrassed us because we were all freshmen. Now we're all seniors, and we were good. We tuned them up, and they decided to try to jump one of our players, and the bench cleared. The bench cleared, and then it got really ugly after, like people saying this did that. You know, some people said the N-word I
remember that.
And you know, I think there is a certain level of aggression that's to be expected. And I think even the commentators were like, hey, can you blame Michigan State because of the rivalry?
Sure.
I don't. I mean, they are trying to hype themselves up. They're going to carry that energy through their next few games. You know what I mean? They got more
Ohio
games.
State was, I think, second. They were ranked second.
Oh, really?
Michigan had a horrible year, and they won the national championship last year.
Yeah.
And so there was a lot going into it. But like you said, it's a rivalry, right?
It's a huge rivalry.
At wrestling, you know, I've seen some crazy shit. I've gotten into it with a couple coaches. I usually conduct myself pretty carefully, but I've definitely my wife at one point was the talk of the wrestling community because her and another high profile mom, my wife was a high profile mom who was known to lose her head, and another mom was known to lose their head, and they're on the middle of the mat screaming at each other and ended up having to get pulled apart from each other because they were both defending their children.
Yeah.
You know, they're defending, they're mama bears defending, and it was like, whoa. And I remember people like coming up to me and like, that was awesome. That was awesome.
Yeah.
And I thought during the moment, like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe that my wife is a part of this.
So where's the gray area between the loyalty and the obstinance, right? Like, where is it?
Where is it? I think judgment comes. Unfortunately, people judge.
You're right.
And unfortunately, people who have never played football, have never done a combat sport, have never done something where you have this like aggressive, and you have all this aggression going into it. And so, yeah, you are standing on business. You are standing on your name. You are defending something. Right. And at what point do you defend it to? Till the death.
Right.
I'll defend my name to the death.
Right. Right.
I will defend my character and who I am to the death. Now, you're playing a game of phase 10 and it gets heated.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, you're throwing cards and you're fighting and shit like that. Is that the same thing? I mean, I don't know.
I mean, I don't think, I think you're absolutely, you're right. You're right. But I don't think it's the same thing. Right. Cause you're talking about inside of your family, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, you have to choose your battles wisely. Right. What are your battles, and when does the stubbornness really, when does it become, when it becomes contentious, right? Like you can't, I don't think you should always turn away, but you should be able to know when you need to.
Right.
I think at the end of the day, yes, the Michigan, Ohio State, it's nice for us to be able to kind of look back and say, ha ha. And in a way it's ha ha, right? Like it sucks that a couple of guys got pepper sprayed, but nobody really got hurt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There was a lot of posturing. There was a lot, and that is what's to be expected in those sports.
I think when it gets contentious, have you seen the Malice in the Palace? Do you remember that? The Malice in the Palace?
It's been a minute.
The Detroit Pistons,
yeah,
and the Warriors.
Is that where what's his Meta World, whatever goes up into the crowd?
The Detroit Pistons, and I can't remember the other team, but yeah, I mean that's when like they're punching fans.
Yeah,
they're fighting in the stands with the fans. They are going at it, and I think that's when it becomes contentious because the fans are the ones that provoke that because they threw the drink at they drew the drink at that Meta World Peace guy.
Yeah, and he can't swim.
No,
he thought he was drowning.
Oh man, he was,
and so he was just trying to get to higher ground.
He
was furious. He was punching his way through people,
and the fans like that got ugly with the fans. And I think like when that happens, and teams against teams, we can split that up. But when you have fans going onto the playing field, or people throwing water bottles. Like, did you see that water bottle be thrown at the BYU cheerleader? And hit him in the head, knocked him out. I mean, batteries and shit. That's when it becomes bad because what are you defending?
Right.
You're not playing the game.
Right.
If I go out and fight and I go out and compete, and a fan wants to fight me, you're not fighting.
Right.
Right. You're not fighting. There's been UFC walkouts where fans have done something. The UFC guy punches the fan. Don't put your hands on me.
Yeah.
I'm in a moment.
Yeah. Powder keg at that point. Yeah. You probably deserve whatever's coming to you.
That's when it becomes contentious, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. You have to realize what is your horse in the fight.
Sure.
I could never see myself fighting to defend. I've been a Broncos fan my whole life. Yes, I will tease and I'll gloat when we win. I also have to eat humble pie when they lose, right? But I could never see myself getting into a physical confrontation for that team.
Yeah, same.
I mean, to me, it just does not. There's nothing I love about them, and maybe it's. Because it comes down to like it's a nationalistic bond, or we bond around these things that kind of keep us connected.
Right.
Right. And so I have to ask myself, like, what is that bond? Like a family bond. You're right. It makes absolute sense that you defend it to whatever degree it needs to be defended, sure. whatever that is. And to be honest, it's like I'm the thing that comes to my mind is the line from Untouchables with what is that guy's name? He's talking to Kevin Costner and he's like, this is the Chicago way. He brings a knife, I bring a gun. They put one of ours in the hospital, we send one of theirs to the morgue. That's the Chicago way.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and that you kind of have to have that. But where are you going to draw that line? Have you written it down? Do you understand it? I mean, honestly, it is your ego if it is over a sports team.
Sure.
Unless you are on the sports team and that sports team is your family.
Yeah.
That's where I'm going to say, okay, like I will give the players a little bit of leeway.
I agree.
I won't give fans.
And it's a bummer that like it's national TV
right.
and whatever. I mean, it's whatever. I don't get bummed out by the fact that they fought. I don't get bummed out by that. I don't care. So when I was younger, we've talked about this a little bit more, like, I was around a lot of gang members, when I was a lot younger. And looking back on that time, it's crazy to me, what you fought over, what I fought over, what I was fought over. And subsequently, like, you look back at it and some of these people, what they're willing to die for in this gang culture, and that in itself is scary.
Yeah.
You talk about the Hatfields and the McCoys back in the day.
Jeez.
I read a book. I think it's Malcolm Gladwell that said that part of that whole thing was that there's Scottish and Highland culture that they come from Scottish and Highland areas where they defend their turf. They defend the turf. That's what you defend your sheep. You defend your flock. So that's why they fought the way that they did, is because it was ingrained in them to fight like that over what? That's
so interesting that you say that, because like my buddy was in the Marine Corps and he was in Iraq, and he said when they started posting like rewards for information on certain people, all the time they were getting these little insights. Like, I'd come complain about my neighbor who offended me in this way. And then, you know, it was a way that they would use the US military to kind of settle some of
their shit,
these family feuds essentially. Right. And so, yeah, I think you have to understand, like, when is it going to be beneficial, right? Like, when is it going to be beneficial? Maybe you can't, like, maybe your, you know, maybe your line just needs to die out because you don't have the strength, right?
Yeah.
Like, that is unfortunate. Like, when you talk about like tribal warfare, right? The biggest and strongest are always going to kind of survive unless you can be the most creative.
Figure shit out.
Right. You know what I mean? Like, we are, like, I think as species, we are meant to kind of have a tribe and to protect our tribe and to war with other tribes, right? When resources are scarce. And it takes a lot of evolution to get to a place of abundance, in the sense that there really is enough for all of us.
Sure.
It doesn't feel like it from time to time when we look and we prioritize wealth, because I think that's the warfare that's being fought now. We are seeing wealth being amassed in kind of untold levels. And there's a lot of people that don't have that, right? And we're prioritizing that. Everything you see on social media is, look at this flex, look at that flex, look at the money I have, look at how wealthy I am, this watch, this car, these women, this lifestyle that I'm living. Some of it's true, some of it's not true. But we're seeing kind of that same war play out with wealth.
Yeah, gosh, it's crazy how, like, the division can happen in certain areas. And like I said, I get so lost in some of these things and thinking about them, because, you know, when you think about just that whole tribal mentality, what you're willing to defend and what you're willing to fight over, could be simply like a cow,
right?
A horse,
right?
You know, something that matters to me, I'm willing to fight for it.
Yeah,
I'm willing to fight for it. And if let's say, like, you have what you're willing to fight for, I have what I'm willing to fight for, and we can't come to a common ground, now we're fighting. Now we're in a feud.
Yeah.
Right? And when you put it, when you're teaching your children and you're teaching these young men, you know, when I'm talking to Trip, I always remind him, like, to protect the people around him. You know?
Right.
And sometimes he thinks about that. If a person comes into the academy and they hurt one of his friends, you know, he's like, okay, I know my job.
Yeah.
I know what my dad has told me.
Yeah.
My boys don't fight at all until they have to. And both of my boys, I know the fights that they've been in. All the fights that they've been into was defend something, to protect something. And I have a video of one of my nephews who's young, and a kid was talking about my sister and her daughter, so my sister and my niece, and my nephew got into a fight over what this kid was saying, and I remember seeing that video, and the fact that it got out to social media, I was kind of bummed out about it anyways. But my nephew was standing on business, and he was kicking the shit out of this kid because of what he said about my sister.
And that's the problem, right? Social media just has such negative effects. Like the speed at which we can disperse information is incredible, right? Crazy. It's been a way as a civilization we've been able to just rapidly increase our own knowledge. Yeah. And I think that's what AI is ushering in. But like the damage that it does, I had to have a hard conversation with Ben. Dude logged 6 hours a day on social media. And I'm like, what kind of guitarist would you be if you logged 6 hours a day and practicing the guitar, playing the piano, you know, learning a foreign language? Right. And to him, it's just like, well, all my friends are there. That's what I do socially.
Right.
It's so damaging. In the case that like something like that could get out, it never helps the situation. Right. It only villainizes people that, you know, we're standing up for something.
Sure.
And the same thing happened in our lacrosse fight, right? Like we didn't post the videos we had. We had videos of the other team literally attempting to stomp on one of our players' heads.
Right.
But what got out was some social media lie that we did something else.
Right. I remember that. I remember like the whole fallout of that too. Because there is a fallout. And that's why I told my nephew is like, hey man, be careful. Like, don't let this shit be posted on social media. You see phones out, stop fighting.
Yeah.
There's no point.
Right.
Because if it was me and I noticed, if I'm watching the video, there's no context to the video. It's just my nephew kicking the shit out of this kid.
Yeah.
I know the backstory, but that's his story.
Right.
What does this kid say? No, he beat the shit out of me for no reason. And that's what it looked like.
Yeah.
There's no context to it.
Yeah. The court of public opinion is not just.
Yeah.
It will just make a judgment based on what is seen.
Yeah. And that's the thing about the Michigan and the Ohio State.
Yeah.
Thing. You have all these people that will make comments about bullshit. Here's one that like has really been bothering me lately is this whole Zach Bryan and his girlfriend. I think there's no context to it, but this person is like on social media,
right,
dragging this dude through the mud. And maybe he did do some things. Maybe he did. Maybe. Right. But my opinion is like, I don't want no part of that.
Right. Yeah. I think it is interesting, right? Like I
want to defend Zach Bryan.
It's interesting. Yeah. Because my oldest daughter has been sending me a lot of this stuff, and like Dave Portnoy, love him or hate him, the dude has made a bajillion dollars just being a level 10 yapper.
Yeah.
He's just a yapper. He's a yapper. He talks, and he's Howard Stern of the 21st century, right? Like the shock jock. Like, I'm going to say shocking things. I'm going to do shocking things.
I have no idea who he is.
He started Barstool Sports, right? He's your typical. I think he's I don't know if he's back east, right. Which, people from back east, they tend to already be pretty abrasive to anyone. Like, mid central west of the United States. But like the same with this chicken fry chick. Her whole job is to yap, to talk. Yeah. To talk. And so to them, their narrative like benefits them.
I know.
And I get it. Like he may, who knows? Dude was in the Navy. Dude his mom passed away. Like, dude, we don't know what his relationship status is. That's not why I like him. That's not why I care about him.
Well, he's not saying nothing.
Right.
That doesn't mean that he's owning what he did. It's just that he's not getting dragged into this bullshit. But who defends the guy?
Right.
Like if somebody was doing that to you, Tyler, I would be on their social media. I'd be on everything saying Tyler is a good dude.
Right.
Anytime that I've had to have a conversation about where I stand, it's Team Tyler.
Well, and the reality is domestic abuse is no joke, right? Sure. And the fact that what they're accusing him of, it has it's like it's wrapped in a lot of kind of emotional abuse, could be considered, but there, like you said, there's no real evidence. And if he was really that bad of a guy, like if he was really that terrible, why did she stay with him so long? She seems pretty healthy and normal, right?
I'm going to tell you, Tyler, if any of my ex-girlfriends came out of the woodwork from what I did when I was a young man, I'd be vilified.
Yeah.
Dude, I was wild.
We all were.
I was wild and I did stupid shit. I said stupid shit and I was a stupid person.
Right.
Right? Yes, I've done stupid shit.
Yeah.
But I don't want you going out and telling the whole entire world about the shit that we did in a relationship that people are people.
The problem is because of social media, how much did these two make by yapping about it for the last 2 months?
I know. It gets me so frustrated. Right? I don't want to see any of that shit. I don't want to see any of that business because I'm thinking, well, who defends?
Right.
Who defends the guy?
Right.
Who's defending him? And I'm a dude.
Right.
And I know that I've gotten into a lot of fights. I know that I've stood on business. I know that I stand. If you say something about Park City Jiu-Jitsu, I want to fight you.
Right.
If you say something about me, I want to fight you. Now maybe I don't because I'm a little bit more refined.
Right.
But back in the day, I was not refined.
Well, I think the ability to slow down is something that's unique to people, right? It's hard to slow down. And I mean, look at politics, for example, right? A lot of people won't even broach the topic, but politics as of late it tends to be that you are either CNN,
I agree.
you are either Fox.
Oh yeah, so true.
You are either Democrat or you're Republican.
So true.
And the reality is, when you look at the Republican, you look at the Democrat will watch CNN, Republican will watch Fox News. They're catering just to their demographic. They don't care about, like, Fox doesn't care about winning over, Lady Liberal over on the left, and CNN doesn't care about, recruiting right-wing Tom on the right. No, they pump vitriol into the system in order to keep it in conflict because it makes them fucking money.
Yeah. It's so true. It's so true. And whose side you stand on is what you'll fight for.
Right. And then you're vilified if you don't pick a side.
I know. I know. Just this last episode, we were it's insane that it's insane to me that there's one side or the other. Right.
Yeah.
One side or the other.
Right.
And I think to myself, like, I'm just in the middle sometimes.
Right.
I'm not one side or the other, but I like to poke and I like to tease and I like to joke. But and if you tease the wrong person,
yeah,
man, they could. I seen a couple of Instagram reels where it said one politics sentence was started, and next thing you know, people are fighting over things.
Right.
And I don't want to be that kind of a person either about certain things, like certain situations. And I don't want people to think that I'm saying that, again, like you said, the domestic violence is wrong, or that I don't understand that it's out there. I do.
Right.
I 100% do.
Right.
I just don't see the benefit of attacking somebody if they're not defending themselves. And how could how can I defend myself if you don't agree with me politically? How can I defend myself?
My question is, what is the over-under? And let's put this on Dave Portnoy's betting website. Dave Portnoy owns a betting website. We should put this on there. What is the over-under that they made more than 12 million yapping about it for 2 months?
I agree.
Than the NDA cost, right? Like, that was the whole thing. Why would he want an NDA? Why would he want an NDA? Like, I mean, I could see a lot of reasons why he wouldn't want it. He'd want to keep it quiet. He's pretty high fucking profile. Do you think if Taylor Swift and what's his name broke up and it was like really contentious that they would want it everywhere?
Yeah, no,
of course they would hire attorneys and be lawyering and doing all this kind of bullshit.
We're gonna see Zach Bryan on Saturday.
Oh, you guys are in for it.
I'm so excited.
I'm
a little bummed because I would have I had 2 opportunities to see him prior to this huge blow up. I could have went to Red Rocks for the infamous snow show.
The snow show. That would have been.
I was in the queue to buy tickets, and I only decided not to because I think I had some. I don't remember what got in the way. Something got in the way, so we didn't go. And last year, we had tickets to San Diego. Yeah. And the pictures I seen, we would have been front row seeing him. And I had the tickets in my hand, but Braxton was supposed to come out here. And I'm a big fan of I'm a big fan of that kind of stuff. I'm a big fan of fighting for shit, fighting for your name. I'm also a big fan of fighting for stupid shit. Just to be like, oh no, I'm on this team.
Yeah, but you know where to draw the line. That's the difference. Like, you know where to draw the line.
I also tease a lot, and I like to have a good time, but I don't want to be seen as negative because I am to this day a Notre Dame Irish fan to my blood. My cousins are Notre Dame Irish fans to their blood.
That's funny.
And I think about that sometimes about like, man, if somebody was to say something negative about the Irish, I'd be a little bit hot, I think it's a good thing.
Yeah.
I think it's a good thing to have that. I don't want you to villainify it, and make it seem like it's gross and ugly just because you're not playing that sport.
Have a passion.
Have a passion.
Have passion. Stand up for things.
Yeah, stand up for people.
Stand up for people. But also know where to draw the line, right? And then know when to pick your battles. Know what battles are worth fighting.
Mm-hmm.
Know no battle has ever been won or lost over, changing traffic. You know what I mean? We talk about road rage all the time.
I agree.
No battle of wits has ever been won.
I agree with you, man. Fun.
Yeah, great episode.
I'm gonna make a shout out, and I apologize because I'm gonna get on my phone for a second. But
no, we're gonna start normalizing using notes on our phones. So like, I'm not gonna vilify you using your phone because I definitely pulled some of my notes.
But we lost a member of the motorcycle community, and I'd like to give him a shout out. So I think it was last weekend. One of ATC Jeremy, who's been on our podcast, Jeremy Ayala, he's been on our podcast a couple of times. We like to be friends with him. One of his brothers in arms passed away. And I know that they are struggling. I know that they're trying to put together his wake. And I appreciate Jeremy shared with me the video that he's doing for that young man. And I think it's cool. His name was his name was Kevin. And to all of Kevin's friends and family at Blackline and all those guys, we're thinking about you. We know that what you guys do, the riding that motorcycle, it could be any moment. And so your family and friends and we're thinking about you guys. And I hope that you guys know that, man, I remember seeing him on some of Jeremy's feeds, the young man that passed away, and he looked like he was a good dude, and he had a young family, a young wife, young kid. And so if you go to Jeremy Ayala's Instagram page, ATC Jeremy, has the information for Kevin's wake, and then also how you can help donate to the family.
Yeah, do it if you've got something to spare. It's the season of giving. I'm so sorry to hear that, Jeremy, and that crew. Like that's tragic. If you don't ride, check twice, man. You don't want to. I don't know the circumstances of what happened, but I've had a lot of people I know not survive accidents because of cars. So I know that's it's unfortunate.
So. Cheers to you guys at Blackline and Kevin's family, ATC Jeremy. We're thinking about you, and we'll say a special prayer for you guys.
All right.
Cool.
Well, cheers to the next episode.
Cheers to the next episode.
One more left in the year.
One more in the year.
One more in the year.
Insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Cheers, everybody.
Okay. Appreciate you.
Bye.
Bye.
Rise up, don't turn it back.